Radhe Radhe. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. May this be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna. As we await our first guests to arrive, allow me to set the intention for the space, as always, as being a welcoming, inclusive environment open to everyone, regardless of what parents you have, what country you were born in, what color pants you're wearing, how long your fingernails are, what your favorite color is, what your belief system is. All of these things that we decorate our sense of self with, let us come to find the unity at heart as fellow students of life, to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Hello, Kiri. Hello, Aquarius lady. Thank you for your hugs. All the same back to you. And thank you, Kiri. I trust that you are doing as well as you can. I'm feeling well. Hello, Anna Marie. Welcome. It's a beautiful day here on the west coast of Canada. So hot, I might liquefy myself by the end of this. I may very well be a puddle on the ground, but we shall see. Hello, Natalia. Namaste, Michelle. How are you all doing? I hope that you are feeling as well as you can be. And thank you, Jai Beam, for your quintet of roses. Radhe, Radhe. Nice to see you again. Thank you, Kiri. I find the bandanas is a practical thing to wear on the head. I like having my hair out of my eyes, but I don't like having it up. But a toque is so warm. I'd really be a popsicle melted on the floor at the end of this. A bandana, perfect balance. Khalid, you share that I could cosplay in Inosuke. Could I now? I don't know if I'm familiar with this character, but I hope it's an attractive one. You are wearing one today, Kiri. We are twinning. I'm happy to hear that. Jai Beam, you share you did song 1 of part 1 of 108. Hey! That's progress. I love that. I'm happy to hear that. I'd love to hear it. Jonathan, you start off with a very profound question. Yeah, what's the point in life? Well, I don't know if I can tell you the answer to that question, but I can point you to the fact that to ask that question is very meaningful. It's amazing that we are born into this universe, but still not know what it's about, even though we are a part of it. To me, this gives me the hint that at least a part of it is up to you. That what you want to do with your day is not decided for you. We get to participate in it. We get to make mistakes and feel what is right and what doesn't feel so right. Slowly, over time, I think we gain a sense of purpose. We find a point in whatever we may be doing. Maybe it's crocheting at that moment. Maybe it's driving or washing dishes or playing your favorite video game. Or maybe it's working towards a grand goal at your job or with your creative project. I think there's many little points and purposes that we find meaning in each moment. And hello, Minette. Hello, Garrett. And hello, Sammy. I love you too. Minette, you share that you want to have a beautiful life. I love that. I think life is very beautiful. And Lauren, you share that tomorrow you will find out if you're on the register to be a nurse. You have never been this scared. Aw. I know that regardless of the outcome, you are still whole. And though this is a great turning point in the trajectory of your life, we are all walking each other home. Our destination remains the same, regardless of the path we take to walk there. Thank you, Sindakar, for your heart meet. And a community crown. I've never seen a community crown before. Thank you. Jai Sitaram. Now my computer's gonna die. I just need to plug it in. I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Since you all are so early, I get to ask you all my question of the day that I like to start my live streams with. I hope you entertain me with this one, because this is a fun one in my opinion. Yesterday I was asking how you are feeling, but today I'm asking if you had to come up with a new word to describe how you're feeling, what would it be? You can combine different words together or just come up with a random set of sounds. Sometimes I feel like our feelings just cannot fit into the boxes that we've predefined with our standard vocabulary. Every now and then we must come up with a new word. Aquarius lady, you share frustrating? Well, I'm afraid that's already a word, but maybe it's just a sheer coincidence that you've invented a word that already exists. Austin, you share griefingized. Oh, I thought this would be funny. I didn't think this would be this funny. Charlie says dringly. Shoshana, you share however Chewbacca's yell is spelled. Hello, Mason. Namaskaram. Soniz shares Jai Beam. Hopelessious shares JB Blaze. Abyssful shares No. I like that one a lot, actually. I think that one could very much be a real word. Hello, Stormy Ariel. Zebra, you share that you're a weirdo. Not quite a weirdo, just a weirdo. Hello, Kristen E. Watson. Bamboozled shares Beanbag. Wow. I like that sound. I think I've heard it before, though. Shgasm shares Jai Beam. Hello, Chloe Evans. And thank you, Jai Beam, for your finger heart you sent a few minutes ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Hybrid Jen, thank you for your rose. Radhe Radhe. Biggie Cheese, you share sprungled. I like that. Igoma shares Jai Beam. And Jody, thank you for your octet of roses. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gratitudebundant shares 7th letter G. That's great. That's a great portmanteau. I like that one a lot. Kiralipi shares Ragnhildur. I like that one too. Xander, you had asked, is it ego if you feel like you knew something you just learned after a little time has passed? Perhaps it came natural to you. And perhaps you were already familiar with something. Now you just have the vocabulary or a frame in which to put your experience that you had already. Hybrid Jen, you share that you're feeling jinky. Jejuberous shares the machine. I like that. So are we making words? That's right, Sovereign. To describe how you're feeling. Mason, you're feeling Fortnite combobbled. Cramps, you share Marsquasame, the feeling of satisfaction from putting off priorities. Marsquasame. I don't know if I pronounced that the way you imagined. Shona, you share fungal prism. That's great. I think that could describe the mycelium network underground. A fungal prism. Avenyose shares zebra. No shares Bob. Thank you, Jai Bean. Tata. And Christine, you share you have no online monies, but you appreciate me. You're trying not to be so kerfunkled. Kerfunkled is a great word, and that's okay. Money is never required in order to share appreciation. Parexity. Paranxiety. There's no more expectations. That was a difficult one for me. Sarah, you're feeling Baklapi. I like that one. Emancipated, shares Jonathan. Salorahi. Shares It's Your Fave Mar. Namaste, Edwin. Welcome. Edwin G, I should say. Love you too, Jai Beam. And Drowned Tea Leaves, you're feeling man-juffled. I like that. Alright. I think there's definitely no shortage of words that we could come up with. Chelsea, you're feeling upsetty spaghetti. That's a classic. Lily Bin, you're feeling frustier irritated. Wow, that's great. That one works well. Dimental, shares Hybrid Gen. You like this game so much. I'm happy to hear that, Sarah. You make up words and phrases all the time. It's so fun. It helps. Irrefrusted, shares Jonathan. I like that, the other way around. I saw you asked a good question. I'll get to it in a second. Kerfuffled. That is a good one. Mr. Punks. And frustrated. Shares Tara. Okay. I'm going to stop the question of the day for now. But thank you, everyone. If anyone comes up with any while we're ongoing in the Sangha, please feel free to share anyway. But I'm really grateful. I think it's fun to come up with our own terms for things when our own vocabulary may be lacking. And sometimes just the sound of words can convey. It's funny, I feel like I got a good impression of how you are feeling, even though you didn't use any word that I was familiar with. And thank you, Edwin G, for your community fest. Om Namah Shivaya. And what would I say, Christine? That's a great question. Garblomulated, I think. I think today is a very gambomulating day, and I'm peacefully submerging myself in garbomulation. And Sarah, you're feeling frumpled. That one's pretty good. And JG, you share onism. It's not made up, but describes how you're feeling. Oh, that's very interesting. I would love to know what you mean, or what it means. Hello, Chloe Evans. You share ohmed. You're feeling ohmed? That's great. Maybe we can make ohm into a verb. He ohms. I am ohming. She ohmed. I will ohm. Sarah, you shared that you're picturing me in a sea of garbanzo beans. That's great. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your cake as well. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. And Ushaji, Ushabai, thank you for your flowers. And Octet of Roses. Om Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namaha. Iberjen, you share that you feel like I could communicate without words. I do a lot of that in my personal life. Doesn't really work on live though. Now, Jonathan, you asked a great question. Do I think we live in an intelligent universe? And if yes, then why sickness and tragedies, etc.? I believe that there is an intelligence within everything. It doesn't have to be a kind of sentient intelligence that we have. Like even the body by itself, it's able to convert organic matter into parts of a human being. You eat a bagel, wait a few days. Now that bagel has been broken down through various cellular reactions, and now it's part of your liver, part of your heart, maybe part of your brain, part of your skin. Or even more so with the case of someone who's pregnant. You were converting a bagel into a new human, or whatever you eat. Now, if a scientist came out with this equipment that could convert a bagel into a human being, you'd think, wow, this scientist must be very intelligent. But a human body does it without thinking. There is a kind of intelligence there. Or in the soil, Mother Earth is able to convert soil into various plants. There is a beautiful structure of the universe and how it all falls into play. That's not to say that each thing was consciously decided per se, but there is almost an inherent consciousness, an inherent intelligence that arises within this precision, you could say. Even still, why is there tragedy, sickness, etc.? Well, from one perspective, we look at it as a mistake. If there is such an intelligence to this universe, then why is there a mistake in its design? But are we so certain it's a mistake? This is not a simple question. What if we could look at it this way? That the world has its problems, not because they should be any other way, but because they provide us with opportunities to solve problems. You know, the name for a human being in Latin is a Homo sapien. Sapien means one with wisdom. Wisdom is only cultivated through experience, through having a challenge, having some adversity, and going in attendance to that. Like the famous prayer, I pray for wisdom, and the Lord sends me problems to solve. It's not what you want, but if you want wisdom, that's what you need. Similarly, when we need to be more caring, more loving, more selfless, etc., then the world, with its problems, is precisely what we need in order to become all these things. Therefore, I consider this world a playground for all these things to develop. We gain intelligence from the absence that we perceive in it by looking for the potential and manifesting it. Now, I like to start my lives with a question of the day, and then a short reading, and perhaps you'd like to join me in a few pages from this book, and then we can continue talking about whatever we want to. That's funny, Dodge Card Deck. You can convert plants and animals to soil. I like that, the reverse process. I love you too, Sarah. I love you too. Alright, I'm going to put a pin in our discussion, but we can continue it just after we read a few passages from In Love at Ease. Today we are reading from the fifth. We finished the 4th chapter yesterday, the 5th chapter, which is called At Ease. This book is about everyday spirituality with Pramukh Swami. And it's not at all about his teachings in terms of, what he had to say, what he wrote down to others. It was his lived teachings and how we can learn from stories that he lived. This was a spiritual teacher who was very famous, but I didn't know about him until one of you guys sent me this book. The subtitle of this chapter is Sharing Sahajananda, which is a Sanskrit word. I don't know what it means, but I think we're going to go into it. This section is called Sahajananda, a constant state of easy, effortless bliss, and perhaps we can learn from that as well. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Bhagavan. Do I have a picture? I have a picture, or rather an artful rendition of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he reminds Arjuna to focus on the journey and to do his duty instead of focusing on the end result. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, which is the figure at the top of this tradition that Swamishri is a part of, he instructs his disciples in the Vachanamrut, which is also something we've been reading, that the key to focusing on the journey is to enjoy a constant state of bliss by considering oneself fortunate to have interactions with God and Guru, with Source and spiritual teachers, and to know that they will always stand by you. It creates a feeling equivalent to consistently riding the waves of an ocean of bliss. Anandna samudra ma jildo rahe. The bliss that inspires one to be at ease is derived from knowing that God and Guru are with one to inspire joy, but also to stand by one through challenging times. Swamishri's guru, Yogi Ji Maharaj, often reminded his disciples that one should never let the bliss of the divine within one's inner self fade. Bodhana Brahmasvarup Panano Anand Kyare Modo Bhadva Devo Nahi. Swamishri experienced that Brahmananda, bliss of the divine, within his self and shared it with others. Progress on the spiritual path requires discipline and determination, but it is not meant to be exhausting, cumbersome, and uninspiring. Philosophers and theologians in the Indic traditions have emphasized the importance of experiencing bliss and relishing the pleasure of the divine as much as they have on tap, austerity, tyag, renunciation, and vairagya, detachment. Bhakti, loving devotion, is where it all comes together, indulging in and experiencing the divine and his creation through the senses while remaining detached from material objects and desires. Bhagwan Swaminarayan encourages spiritual aspirants to relish in the pleasures of the 5 physical senses from God's divine form, instead of looking for a temporary fix in the material objects of the world. This happiness is permanent and everlasting, as opposed to the passing pleasures of the world. Bhakti, loving devotion of God and Guru, culminates as an ecumenical sensory experience through seva and puja, through selfless service and ritual worship. Puja is kind of like a Sanskrit acronym coming from the word pushpam and jalam, which means flower and water, which are things we offer to the divine. Offering food and scents, having darshan of the murti, having a witnessing of a divine image adorned in ornaments, and listening to discourses and devotional music through rituals and festivals in the company of other bhaktas, other devotees. I just lost my spot. Where did I just read that? Of other bhaktas, create a community of shared experience. The joy experienced through these celebrations is of the divine and not of the world. It is the bliss of God, or Brahmananda, which is the basis of one's internal stability, smile, and satisfaction. Eventually, this state of bliss becomes one's natural state of being. It becomes Sahaja, which means easy, natural, organic. Brahmanand then becomes Sahajananda, one's natural state of bliss. This Sahajananda was the secret to Swamishri's ability to be at ease. This bliss intricately linked with the divine, metaphorically and literally. Bhagwan Swaminarayan's initiation name was Sahajananda Swami. Swamishri's bliss was derived from his firm faith in the divine, in Sahajananda Swami. Not only did he relish in his bhakti and seva, his loving devotion and selfless service, but he knew that God and Guru were always by his side. To be at ease is to savor and share Sahajananda. For Swamishri, moksha, liberation, and Sahajananda were not a lofty dream or a theoretical concept. They were lived and experienced. Swamishri helped millions live and experience glimpses of Sahajananda during his lifetime. It helped him make spirituality accessible to millions. In this chapter, I share interactions of Swamishri in Sahajananda, wherein he was content and comfortable with himself, where he put in the effort but did not try too hard, where he faced difficult situations fearlessly and without a shred of anxiety, where he showed that spirituality can be fun and playful, where he explored and enjoyed moments, where he was able to let go and move on from all that was his, and where he was able to embrace the next chapter with a smile. Experiencing Swamishri. Humanly divine gurus are only so because they are exceptional humans. Swamishri's elevated spiritual state rested on a foundation of his exemplary qualities as a person. Who was Pramukh Swami Maharaj beyond his contributions and creations? Swamishri's interactions speak for themselves, but there is a certain benefit in knowing a person through their likes, dislikes, and innate traits. It sheds light on their intent. Though Swamishri always introduced himself as a sevak, as a servant, thus, another word for a servant, and bhakta, a devotee. And though others always introduced him as a guru, master builder, religious leader, cultural ambassador, and social reformer, Swamishri's human characteristics have helped me feel closer to him in my thoughts and actions. Here, I present a reading of Swamishri that I have seen and heard since my childhood. This is how I observed and experienced him. Hello, I am happy man. As a person, Swamishri was kind, generous, available, helpful, ethically and morally sound, and disciplined. But he embraced his human traits and preferences that helped others relate to him. These human qualities and preferences are not shared as frequently in the community, and rightfully so. Bhaktas, devotees, and Hindu traditions see their guru as one who transcends the three gunas, the qualities of nature, namely rajas, passion, tamas, dullness or inactivity, and sattva, calmness or goodness, associated with these human traits. Sharing these traits helps me and others see him as one of us, which makes his humanly divine spirituality that much more relevant, accessible, and appealing. Who was Swamishri? I highlight some of his traits, peculiarities, and preferences from my humanly restricted and therefore limited perspective. Young Shantilal Swamishri was timid and shy. He was so meek as a child that he would not ask for a second rotli during a meal unless a sibling or his mother offered it to him. He never wanted to be a burden. He also preferred his own company over that of large groups who enjoyed small talk. After dinner each evening, he would climb a lean, rickety ladder up to his attic with a small pot of water and spend the evening reading, studying, and being in his own company. To be at ease is to enjoy one's own company. Young Shantilal was an athlete. He was fond of cricket and swimming. He spent several hours a week on the cricket pitch and in the water bodies surrounding the village of Chansad. Shantilal was equally interested in learning English. He spoke about it often to his friends and had even expressed his desire to learn English before his guru. Shastriji Maharaj urged him to channel his passion for English to study Sanskrit instead. After his guru appointed Swamishri as the president of the organization, Shastriji Maharaj often reminded Swamishri to speak up and to sit up straight. He would say, "One day you will sit on the guru's seat. You will have the qualities. Prepare yourself." Swamishri took his guru's instructions to heart and shared them with young bhaktas and sadhus, devotees and monks, whenever he had the opportunity. Swamishri communicated and instructed in an understated manner. He was very attentive. His eyes would flicker across the room, observing everyone who entered and exited. His reactions to those movements would be close to nothing, yet were enough to instruct. He could respond or direct someone with a gentle head nod, a flashing of his eyes, or even raising of his eyebrows. Swamishri's silent mode of communication was impressive. He arranged meals, seats, and even international travel with the mere flash of his eyes. In 2006, a young man from Ohio was traveling with Swamishri in India and wanted to accompany his guru to the Diwali celebrations in London. There were only 3 days left before the trip, in which he needed to book a plane ticket and retrieve his passport that was in safekeeping in Ahmedabad. He asked Swamishri, who was thrilled, "Of course, we will celebrate another Diwali together. Please call Ahmedabad and have them send your passport." As the youth was bowing to Swamishri, he nodded his head at Dharma Charandas Swami, who was standing at the back of the room. The sadhu knew exactly what needed to be done. He called Ahmedabad and asked for the young man's passport to be sent to Mumbai, and to have his ticket booked. On the other hand, despite having called Ahmedabad several times, the young man had not heard back from anyone. He had given up hope of traveling to London with Swamishri. On the day of Swamishri's departure, the sadhus told the young man that it all had been taken care of and to come to the airport. He was still anxious as he arrived at the airport, but his unease faded when he was handed his passport and ticket. Dharma Charandas Swami later told the young man that Swamishri had arranged for his travel and passport in less than 2 days, and all with a nod of his head and a flash of his eyes. To be at ease is to make things easy for others. And why don't we pause our reading of In Love, at ease there for now. So thank you for listening. And we may return to discussing whatever's on your minds. I am at your service. No, I don't spend a lot of time in my backyard when it's winter, asks 8 tonight. It's too cold, but I do like going for walks. And thank you to those who sent a gift while I read, like Babel Fishy. Thank you for your quintet of roses and your pair of finger hearts. Radhe, Radhe. And Gina, thank you for your rose also. Om Krim Kalikai Namaha. And Bantagor, thank you for your heart meat too. Radhe, Radhe. Arya, you ask, could I recommend how to find a guru literally and not as a cryptic, esoteric menagerie? So, no doing what the politicians do. What is that called? When they're answering the question indirectly. It's a great word. I forget the name of this word. I'm sure one of you will know. A filibuster. That's what it's called. No filibustering. Filibustering you. Yes. Well, speaking as though I have one, and I know what it takes to get one, would be not entirely honest, considering the fact that I don't. I can tell you, however, that there is a difference between an upaguru and a satguru. An upaguru can be anyone, like your mother, your father, or even a friend, or an internet personality. An upaguru is like a guru that guides you on your way to the satguru, and the satguru finishes you off. I can't tell you who is an upaguru and who is a sadguru, but I can tell you that if you sit with anyone, you will eventually pick up on the qualities that you see in them. And so you can check in on yourself. Check in with yourself. Are you feeling more peaceful? Are you feeling like your patience is getting better? Your compassion, your love, all these qualities that we associate a guru being immersed in. If you feel like you're picking up on these things yourself, as well as decreasing in what we associate with the world, like impatience and being in a rush and divisiveness, then you're definitely benefiting there. I wouldn't worry so much about labeling the technical term as a guru as of yet, but as long as you are benefiting from the presence of someone, then that's a good sign that you can continue to sit before them, even if it's a fellow friend, as I said. And Pantagor, thank you for your heart me, and Babi So, thank you for your heart me, your cheer you up, and a team bracelet. Radhe or Radhe. Om Tat Sat. You ask, what is the difference between a Satguru and a Jagat Guru? Jagat means world guru, or universal guru. Some gurus, they have certain qualifications for who is their devotees, which makes sense. Not all teachers can accept all students, but a Jagat Guru, if they are truly a Jagat Guru, it means they accept everyone as their student. As long as you merely see them as your guru, that's enough for them to be your guru. A Sat Guru, Sat means just a true guru. A Jagat Guru can be a Sat Guru, but not all Sat Gurus are Jagat Gurus. Squares and rectangles. Arya, you share that you can read and read and read and meditate and journey shamanically. I like that word, shamanically. But without a guide, it's hard. Indeed. Until you have a guide that can lead you up the mountain, the least we can do is know the way up. We might not know the best way up, but we can keep going up. All you have to do is feel all around you. What way has the most resistance? What way would, if you let go, would cause you to tumble down all the way to the base of the mountain? Well, that way is probably down. And the way with some resistance is probably up. So we can use this intelligence to go higher and higher. But without a guide, sometimes we go up in a way that's maybe too difficult for us. And we have to backtrack until we find a different angle that's best suited for us. There's a lot of experimentation involved, and that's allowed. far from here, you ask, is there such a thing as a bad person? Bad is a label. And when we call a person bad, what we really mean is that we've experienced badness from their behavior. They can have bad behavior, that's for sure. And someone with bad behavior at other times could be seen doing good behavior, and other times neutral behavior. So the badness, the goodness, the neutrality of someone is really a measure of their actions. And everyone has a capacity to change their actions. It's difficult. It's the most difficult thing to do, really. But that means that no one can be set in stone as good or bad when they always have the ability to change. And if we label someone as if they had no ability to change, then we would be limiting them. So it's best to keep an open mind, in my opinion, that someone's actions is a reflection of where they are right now. But where they are right now is not necessarily how they will be as they move forward in life. That's a beautiful way of putting it, Arya. Is the whole tree bad because it produced one rotten apple? Well, if you put that one bad apple in a bunch, all it takes is one to ruin the whole bunch, doesn't it? But if you give each apple its own space, then the badness of one need not affect the badness of another. Only if we group everything up together. Hi Bridgen, you share that you feel close to Kali, and you just learned of her the other day from my live. Isn't Kali great? I love her. I was planning on doing a very powerful Kali mantra today, perhaps the most powerful mantra I've ever heard. But I thought it might be even too powerful, because it's a scary one. I might have to save it for another day. '90s girl. You share that you loved my videos. Why have I deleted them? Well, I did not delete them to deprive you of something that you love. But I did delete them to open up the floor to something new that I hope you'll love even more. Fox Forever, you're wondering what do I feel about ghosts and aliens. I don't know. I can only speak from my experience. And in my experience, I haven't had the honor of meeting any ghosts, ghouls, phantoms, spirits, or aliens, extraterrestrials, or beings from another world. All I know is that I'm on this planet and a human being, and so attending to fellow human beings on this planet seems like where my attention needs to go. Hello Koribori. Hello Haneki. You share that you have a short time here because you have an appointment tomorrow. Another appointment. You've been having a lot of them, but I guess with your surgery, that's good that they're checking in on you and seeing the development of your healing. And thank you, Daniel, for your 5 donuts and community fast that you sent just a minute ago. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Minette, you're wondering, what are my favorite soul-warming meals? Whatever my mother cooks for me. What warms my soul is her love. And if she puts it into any meal, well, that's enough for me. Other than that, I really like cheru. I often start my morning with a bowl of cheru. Cheru is very similar to rice pudding. It's rice that you make sure is very, very, very clean. And you boil it nice and slow. And then when the water's boiled away, we add in a lot of milk. And we boil it in milk very slowly. And then you add sugar and ghee, which is clarified butter, and a bit of cardamom. Mix it all together. And you get this delicious, this perfect sustenance. It's like ice cream, but you can have it hot or cold. You can even put fruit in it. And it's one of the most purest foods on the planet. It's the most sattvic food that I know of. In the yogic diet, foods are measured based on 3 qualities: rajasic, tamasic, or sattvic. And this is the most pure, the most sattvic food that I know of. It's nice and sweet. Madeline, you shared that you had a dream that your 3-month-old baby said to you, "You were somebody in another world." I was somebody in another world, they said. Aww. And I love that. I think it's a feeling that many mothers experience, that we are not privy to the creation of a new soul, but we are honored with the task of carrying this soul through their next life. Sarah, you share that Arjuna's grandma used to make it. That's awesome. I love that. You've had that, Sarah? That's wonderful. Now I'd like to read from another section of the bucket, Rumi. And Arya, you were sharing that you were going to try and do your first multi-panel live stream, how all religions are in harmony. That's wonderful. Well, I wish you luck, and anyone who's here and wants to check out Arya, please be my guest and go and join them. I would love for Arya to have some of you there. But I'd love to read another poem from this Sufi mystic, Rumi. Rumi is a wonderful Sufi poet and has written such devotional poetry like no other. Here we'll read another random poem. Let's read this one called "The Water We Seek." The eye, or the spirit, that focuses on the transient, falls on its face wherever it goes. Someone who focuses on the distance, without knowledge, may see far, but just as we do in a dream. Asleep on the bank of a river, lips parched, as you dream you are running towards water. In the distance, you see the water of your desire, and, caught by your seeing, you run towards it. In the dream you boast, I am the one whose heart can see through the veils. Yet every step carries you further away toward the perilous mirage. From the moment you dreamed, you set out. You created the distance. From that which had been near to you, many set out on a journey that leads them further away from their goal. The intuitive claims of the sleeper are a fantasy. You too are sleepy, but for God's sake. If you must sleep, sleep on the way of God. And maybe some other seeker on the way will awaken you from your fantasies and slumber. No matter how subtle the sleeper's thought becomes, his dreams will not guide him home. Whether the sleeper's thought is twofold or threefold, it is error multiplying error. While he dreams of running through the wilderness, the waves are lapping so near. While he dreams of the pangs of thirst, the water is nearer than his jugular vein. And that's from the Kabir Helminsky, or maybe that's the translator, from Matnawi, the 4th, 3262 to 41. Thank you for listening. And thank you for blessing me when I sneezed. You know, I'm having karma because I was taking pity on those who went through seasonal allergies, because I've never really had them in my life. And now for the first time I'm getting them. I was thinking just a few months ago, it's crazy how some people, they just have allergies in the spring or summertime. And now I'm getting them. Now I understand. Thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your pair of disco loves and a half dozen roses. Radhe, Radhe. Arya, you're still here? You must go, my friend. Please enjoy your multi-panel live. And thank you, Bella Brandt, for your rose too. Jai Shri Ram. And Hrisit, thank you for your 20 finger hearts. There's some for you too, my friend. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sakiko, you shared that you got Camper of the Week at your summer camp. I love that. What a great title that is. Camping is so fun. Puts us back in Mother Nature. Some of the most rewarding times and thoughtful revelations come during camp. And thank you, Ragnhildur, for your trio of roses. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Mr. Mate, you share that apparently stinging yourself with nettle cures hay fever, but you have never experienced this. Well, for the sake of people's health, we'll leave it at apparently. But it is something that I would try. Because I'm stupid and I'll try anything. I'm naive, I should say. Sarah, you share that you're allergic to gluten, soy, peanuts, and oats. Allergies are funny, aren't they? It's like you have been selected in this life to not experience these things. It is sad, but it makes you appreciate other things, and your experience allows others to cherish what they get to enjoy with a sense of preciousness, since it is not guaranteed. And Sarah, you share that you've been stung by nettles but never had hay fever. Hey, well, is it correlation or causation? I don't know. Hello, Yana. Golds, you share that Louise Hay explains that hay fever comes from a feeling of not belonging on this planet. That's very interesting. And is their last name Hay? Because, well, they definitely have some authority on the subject, given that they're named after hay. I think there is a metaphorical symbolism with some of the things that we go through in life. My mother, every time she gets an earache, she feels like there must be something I'm not hearing then, something that I should be paying attention to, and I love that. Hello, Marcy. Speaking of allergies, welcome back. Nice to see you. I was worried about you. Jocelyn, you're wondering, where am I? I'm in my mother's backyard. In the Canadian summer sun. On an island off the west coast of Canada. And Chloe, you share that your dad's best friend was allergic to cats. That is perhaps one of the saddest allergies. My mom is also. Apparently there's food that you can buy now that mitigates allergies of fur. That has to do with some kind of enzyme they secrete in their skin or something, some oil. Thank you, B525, for your rose. Radhe. That's right, Nadine. And that's a very fun username. Sparkles and confetti, eye, tongue, eye, trident and sparkles. I think you must be a devotee of Kali. Thank you for your hanging lights and your disco love. Or Shiva, or both. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. Hello, Chihiro. You've been watching me on YouTube. Well, this is even better. You get to participate. Sorry for those watching in the YouTube right now. Chloe, you shared that you are allergic a little bit, but kind of mildly. Just get irritated. That's worth it. I don't know what could stop me from being close to my cats. I think even if I broke out in hives and if my skin would go on fire, I'd still cuddle them and love them. And speaking of cat, there's lovely Sandy who's looking at me. He's walking away from the door now. He wants to go outside. So, I am his delivery person. I will open the door for him. But shipping tax. You're shipping taxes. You have to say hi to everyone. Say hello. What are you looking at? Sandy. Did you know that you're a distinguished gentleman? Yes. Okay. And Nikki, you're wondering, is Shadow also there? I don't know where his brother is. Normally he comes up to the window after he realizes that his brother has been let outside. Only half the team today. I'm happy you all love Sandy. I love him very much as well. Ranjit, you're wondering, is this a peace flag or a pride flag? It's both. Can't have pride without peace, nor peace without pride. And pride just means confidence in your nature beyond boundaries, beyond borders. Acceptance of your unlimited being. It's very beautiful today, Natalie. I want to go swimming in the ocean a little bit, but I also want to be here with all of you. And hello, G to Infinity. I love that so many people share their love with each other as they join here. That makes me happy. Hello, Sue. Chihiro, you had asked, do I have any tips on dealing with a lack of motivation? Motivation will come when it's time. No need to put expectations on yourself to have the energy for the things you want to do or need to do right now. It will come. Never in my life have I ever summoned motivation out of nowhere. It came when it was ready. When I was not feeling motivated, the most I could do is take care of myself. I could have a nap. I could rest, just take it easy. I believe that motivation is one of those graces that comes to us. And until that grace comes, we can forgive ourselves for not being in control of that. And we can have the patience to wait for it to come. Hello, Giovanna. It's nice to see you too. Can't stay long because you have life to attend to, but you just wanted to let me know that you love the love that I transmit to the world. Well, thank you. There's plenty more where that came from. Buenos dias, G to Infinity. Thank you, Talita, for your cloud bread. Hare Krishna. Hello, Kimmy. And then hello, Hattie. Thank you for your flowers. I shall pass them along to Sandy, who would love to gobble them up. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Irene, thank you for your rose also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarah, you share two very cryptic nouns. Elephant shoes, olive juice. Is this your shopping list? Elephant shoes, olive juice. What's olive juice? I've never heard of olive juice before. And you're making shoes? You're getting shoes for an elephant? That's very kind. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Ijleg. I would love to read from you a passage from the pocket Pema Chodron. Pema is a lovely Buddhist nun. And I'm hoping that some of her wisdom can be shared here. Oh, and goodbye, Haneki. Thanks for sticking around. I hope that you have a good sleep and your appointment tomorrow goes well. Now let's see, what haven't we read from the Pocket Pema Chodron yet? How about this one, number 64, called Loneliness. It's a very short one today, but one that I'm sure is widely applicable. Loneliness. Usually, we regard loneliness as an enemy. Heartache is not something we choose to invite in. It's restless and pregnant and hot with a desire to escape and find something or someone to keep us company. When we can rest in the middle, we begin to have a non-threatening relationship with loneliness, a relaxing and cooling loneliness that completely turns our usual fearful patterns upside down. That's number 64. Loneliness. If we can rest in the middle, what do you think that means? I'd love to hear from you all. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye, Hanika. I concur, recorded from Void. Elephant shoes would be very big. It'd be like the size of a dog bed. You know, those circular looking beds that just have a raised boundary. Just slip that on around an elephant's foot. A cool loneliness. You like that? I like that too, the link below. Clay Dog, you share. Stop thinking about things and rest in the middle. I like that. Michelle, you share that loneliness is still time spent with the world. I love that. And with yourself. I'm happy you like the readings, Catwoman. You're very welcome. Sarah, you share that it's different ways to say I love you. It looks the same without sound. Elephant shoes, olive juice. I see. That's fun. Happy you like my hat too, potato soup. How do you share? I'm making you sleepy? Well, I hope I'm not putting you to sleep by boring you to death. But if you feel comfortable being vulnerable enough to relax, then that's an honor. and one that I don't take lightly. So thank you. And Sue, you share, yes, learning to enjoy time by yourself and getting grounded, finding your center. That's wonderfully said. I agree. Fox Forever, you share that you keep your blinder open since you're unemployed and it gets lonely. Whenever I am feeling lonely too, sometimes I sleep with the presence of the light on, or with my stuffed animal, Carrot, the bunny, which I've had since birth. Came from the same hospital that I did. How do you share that you're flying to Spain on Wednesday and the nerves are kicking in? You hate planes. But you love Spain. Or you will. I'm sure you will. Spanish are lovely people. And it definitely beats being on a boat for months crossing the ocean. Or driving for days and days. A plane is one of the safest places to be on. So much more injury happens on the ground than it does in the air. In fact, you should be scared after you land, if anything. But you don't have to be scared of either. This lovely bird has come back. It's been flying around me today on this patio. Hello, Fiji water bottle. You know, I always think about you. Because I got a Fiji water bottle the other day just for you. I haven't drank in it. And I've been keeping it with me in my room whenever I go live from my room. In case you show up, so I could show that Fiji water bottle. But the last few times you've come while I've been outside, and I keep debating, should I bring the Fiji water bottle outside with me, just in case Fiji water bottle shows up? And I remembered that today, and I thought, nah, what are the odds? They probably won't come. But the universe has arranged it such, so I keep forgetting to do that. I am sorry. Thank you for your cloud bread. Radhe Radhe. Hi Bridgen. Thank you for your heart me. And thank you Babble Fishy for your pair of roses. Jai Sita Ram. And Haneke. Thank you for your rose. I hope you're falling asleep now and not still in here. No, you are still in here. I see your name. Well, you can fall asleep anyway. Sorry to wake you if you heard your name. Hari Om Tat Sat. And the link below. Thank you for your trio of roses. Hare Krishna. And Hati, thank you for your donut. Donut. That's sweet. Dum Durgae Namaha. And Ragnhildar. Thank you for spoiling me with your swans. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. You want a donut, please? Shares Sarah. Well, I can make you a donut hole by wrapping my arms around you and giving you a hug donut, a donut hug. There. Now you're a Timbit, which is what we call donut holes in Canada. I made you a Timbit. The hummingbird's back. I just love the hummingbirds. They're so cute. I'm going to explode. Lizzie, you had shared that you're in need of some encouragement, crying because of the anxiety you feel. Well, you know what? That's a great thing to do while anxious. Really, any way which you can express how you're feeling and just externalize all that which we've internalized. I remember having many tears shed in my anxious moments too. I can relate with that, and I'm so sorry that you're feeling so overwhelmed right now. I do believe that anxiety can be a blessing in disguise, because it brings us closer to a peace that is unaffected by our mind, which sounds almost impossible, but it's something that eventually comes. That even when the mind starts thinking anxious thoughts, it's possible to eventually get to the point where even your own thoughts don't bother you. It's like a tired mother whose child is causing a ruckus, but eventually they learn to sleep through it. It's like, I'm familiar with the sounds of my child. I know that they're gonna be okay. I could put in a few winks of sleep. So too, our mind is like a child causing ruckus. To a new mother, you might go, oh my goodness, I have to do everything I can do to make sure my baby is okay. But then they figure out that it's just the nature of children to have something going on. You don't always have to make everything perfect for them. So too with our mind. Our mind is allowed to complain. Our mind is allowed to come up with anxious thoughts. But as the parent of the mind, you don't always have to fix all the problems. The mind is an endless source of problems. It's possible to listen to it, acknowledge it, validate it, but still just let it be as it is. And let yourself be as you are also. Everything you can do to validate your experience while anxious is a wonderful thing. You're in the right place. You're allowed to be here. This body is perfect for you. This mind, full of thoughts, but that's okay too. Your feelings, these are natural and valid. Everything about you is valid in this moment. And so you share that hummingbird symbolizes joy in Native American traditions. I love that so much. Well, they symbolize joy in my heart too. They bring me a lot of joy. Chihiro, you share that a plane flew by in the back. This back? Could you see it? Or just hear it? And Sarah, you have to disconnect and sleep. Eyelid movies and the like. The farm awaits. Yes, please. Have a good sleep. And I look forward to your escapades on the farm tomorrow. Well, thank you for raising your voice, Lizzie. Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to have you here. You saw it? That's cool. That'll look cool in the recording. There is an international airport not too far from me. It goes over the town of Sydney. And when I used to live in Sydney, so where I grew up for a big part of my life, there was always planes that, they're flying over the ocean, and it looks like they're going to land on the ocean or crash into the town, but then they just glide over the rooftops and land at the airport, and it's so cool just sitting on the beach, and this plane just goes over your head. Like, wow, I can see all the details. I can see the nuts and bolts and the people in the windows. I just hope they don't flush the toilet above me. But that's a myth. They don't do that. It's a fun experience. So you had shared that now in life you feel less lonely when you're alone. I guess you have many people in your life and need breaks. The more people in your life, the more you appreciate being alone. Some me time. Yeah, that's for sure. In the spirit of reading from different traditions and different spiritual texts, I would love to read from another passage of the Vachanamrut. Yes, I'm still planning on going to India, Kimi. We've made a considerable dent in the Vachanamrut so far. Let us read yet another passage from the discourses that were shared from a certain spiritual being's life in the last 10 years as he lived in Gujarat, India, sharing under the name of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and many other epithets. Let's see what this passage has to say, called Kathada 175, Redeeming 71 Generations. On Vaishak Vadhi 11, Samvat 1876, or the 8th of May 1820 in our calendar, Swamishri Sahajananda Ji Maharaj. We were just learning about what that name means today in our reading of In Love at Ease. Ananda means bliss. Sahaja means natural or organic. So his name, Sahajananda Ji, means natural bliss. He was sitting on a large decorated cot under the Neem tree in front of the mandir of Sri Vasudev Narayan in Dada Khachar's Darbar in Gadhada. He was wearing a garland of yellow flowers around his neck and was dressed entirely in white clothes. At that time, an assembly of munis, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him. Thereupon, Surya Khachar asked, I wonder if this is, if Surya Khachar is related to Dada Khachar, who owns this darbar. It is said that 71 generations. By the way, other interpretations of the original text, which are also in accordance with the Hindu scriptures, include 21 and 101 generations. The 21 generations include the current generation and the 10 previous generations and the 10 following generations. Anyway, it is said that 71 generations of a family that contains a devotee, someone who looks up to the divine with reverence, are redeemed. But many in that lineage may even be enemies of the sant, of such a saintly person, and of the divine. They don't harbor the same reverence, maybe even aversion. So in what way are they redeemed? Sriji Maharaj answered, Devahuti harbored profound love towards Kardam Rishi as her husband. yet she was redeemed because of her affection for him. The 50 daughters of King Mandhata, who married Saurbhari Rishi, were attracted to him by his handsome appearance. Although their affection for Saurbhari was born of lust, still they all attained liberation like Saurbhari Rishi himself. Therefore, if all the members of a family in which there is a devotee believe, we are indeed very fortunate to have a devotee in our family, and keep affection for the devotee with such an understanding of their glory, then all of the members of that family will attain liberation. Even if the devotee's forefathers who have died have gone to Svarg, heaven, realize, we are indeed very fortunate to have a devotee in our family, and they also keep affection for the devotee, then those forefathers will attain liberation as well. However, a person who keeps animosity towards a devotee does not attain liberation. As their hatred increases, their mind becomes more and more polluted. In fact, when they die, they fall into the same pit of Narak, lower region, as that entered by a person who has committed the 5 grave sins. I also want to point out, although we are using the terms heaven and synonyms for hell, it's different than what we might be familiar with in Abrahamic tradition, which is a permanent place. In Hindu traditions, heaven and hell are like vacations for the soul. Just like a vacation on earth, you can't go there forever. Once all your good deeds run out, you come back. And it's also like a jail sentence. Once all your bad deeds have run out, then you come back to the world as well. Thus, all those who have affection for a devotee, regardless of whether they are family members or not, attain liberation. Thereafter, Naja Jogia asked, suppose there is one devotee with absolute, or rather resolute faith, and another with only a little faith. Although outwardly they both appear to be good, how can the two be recognized? Shriji Maharaj explained, one who has precise jnana, precise knowledge of the nature of the Atma, the true self, firm vairagya, dispassion towards worldly or materialistic things, as well as perfect bhakti, loving devotion, and swadharma, the highest, the deepest kind of righteous duty. They should be known to have perfect faith. Even if one of these 4 factors is lacking, then despite having faith, it is still without the knowledge of divine glory. If all 4 factors are totally present, then that should be known as faith, coupled with the knowledge. And thus we conclude this reading of the Vachanamrut. So, thank you for listening. Hence, wherever we see someone with such faith, and faith that includes those 4 things, which is the nature of the self, knowing they know themselves to be beyond the body, beyond the mind, which means they're not going in pursuit of harboring resources to attend to just their body, their mind. They have firm vairagya, which means they have dispassion towards material objects, as well as unending love and devotion, and swadharma, a very high kind of ethical and moral lifestyle, then such a person with faith we shall be honored to be around, especially if they're in our family. Thank you for listening. Hello, Gaia. User 224, you're wondering if I've read this one before. Not yet. That was the first time. But it is ringing a bell with you. Well, a lot of them start off similar ways, since Swami Narayan is often seated on the veranda under the Neem tree by the Narayan Vasudev temple. What was it called? Anyway, at Dada Khajar's Darbar in Gadhada, dressed in white with garlands of flowers around him. Phoenix, you shared that you have a Neem and you love her. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. There is so many different uses for the Neem tree. I know that Neem oil is used as something that's really good for plants. It's a way of getting something that's not an insecticide, because it doesn't kill the insects, but it makes sure that the insects don't kill the plant. It's very good for plants if you're having issues with plant disease. And so many other things, but that's just the use that I know of. Dreamweaver, you share that you are watching randomly Keanu Reeves videos and you feel he naturally embodies those qualities. He does, doesn't he? Yeah. It's very interesting because if we dial back time in our Western society, or if we just turn to modern indigenous or Eastern societies, there isn't really a culture of looking up to celebrities, which is interesting because it's such a staple in our Western community. We feel like, oh, there's always been celebrities. There's always been people we've looked up to. And it's true, we've always looked up to people. But in previous times, those whom we looked up to were those who were very virtuous, those who were gurus, spiritual teachers, those who exemplified great qualities. And so for us in the West, since we have an absence of those kinds of people, it's like our attention instead goes to the celebrities. But Keanu Reeves is an example of a celebrity that still exemplifies those qualities. So he's kind of the perfect celebrity, in my opinion. I think that celebrities have big responsibilities. That honor and fame, it comes with a great task, and that is so many people look up to you, they are going to become like you. It's natural. Wherever we put our awareness, we acquire those traits ourselves. If Beyonce does it, then why can't I do that? You know? If she thinks like this and I look up to her, I should think like this also. So it's very important that those who are in a position of being looked up to, that they exemplify traits that they would want the whole world to have, that the whole world would benefit from, like kindness and patience and compassion and love and things like that. And on our hand, it's our responsibility to look up to those people that do embody those traits. Hello, Masa. Jim Carrey as well shares. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce your lovely name. Claire Sprack. Jim Carrey as well. Jim Carrey has had a spiritual awakening over the course of his life, a very public one, and I think that's really beautiful. Dreamweaver, you share that you admire Keanu's selflessness most of all. Yeah. Me too. And thank you, Michael, for your heart. Your heart, me. Hare Rama. User 224, you share that you would hate to become a famous person in Ireland, as Irish people humble them. I love that about the Irish. The Irish are very humbling. Maybe they're not humble themselves, but they're humbling, which is still great. Thank you, Michael, for your rose too. And thank you, Sue, for your rose also. Radhe, Radhe. Irish people are not fazed when they see celebrities. I love that. Yeah, I've always felt that way. You know, like if I ever saw a celebrity, I feel like if anything, you know, I'd just let them be, or I'd ask them how they were doing. You know, I don't feel the need to get an autograph or ask for a picture. I would just love to make them feel human, because so many people dehumanize them or superhumanize them that no one sees them at eye level, and my heart goes out to them, honestly. I would just love to have like a normal, everyday conversation with them. In fact, I might even pretend not to know who they are for the sake of their comfort. I know that my mother finds herself around celebrities a lot. I don't know how she does it. Every few months, she just tells a story, and then she name drops some celebrity. It's like, who are you? What do you mean you had a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg? Oh yeah, he was walking, and he asked me where the ocean was. I told him to just keep going. What? Telling a story where she was at a bar and Brad Pitt asked her to dance. I was like, what? The Brad Pitt? She was like, yeah, I said I really didn't want to because he smelled bad. He was doing a movie and he was still in his role, his very gross role, and I honestly couldn't be near him. Like, wow, my mom is so unfazed. I think I look up to that quality in her a lot. And the Prime Minister of Canada kayaked by our house once. My mother just casually mentioned that. Yeah, you know, Justin Trudeau, he kayaked by. And I was like, what? While I was in the same house that we live in together? You didn't think to tell me? Well, you know, he's busy, man. Thank you. Thank you, Dreamweaver, for your hanging lights. Om Sum Surya Namaha. Yes, my mother. She has very funny encounters. Right? Yeah, I think about that too, Michelle. Imagine someone screaming in your face when they see you. I'd be surprised if a lot of the celebrities aren't on a lot of anxiety medication. Because I know that I would have to be probably, or have a really good therapist and support. Now, can my mom come on the stream? Asked Chihiro. Well, she did before. I don't know where she is right now. The next time she's out, she was gardening. She was watering the lawn all around us. Oh no. Did my phone disconnect? I think my phone died, actually. Well, it turned off. It overheated in the sun. That's okay. Well, while I get my phone up and running again, there you can look at this waterfall. That reminds me to reposition the umbrella. I'll be right back to make sure the shade covers my phone. Okay, my voice is back, and the umbrella is put in place. I'm just gonna try to turn on my phone again. And that's right, in the void. That's one thing I like about my virtual camera that my phone is connected to. Is that whenever it disconnects, there's a little cat swinging her tail in the void. And I love that. It's a kind of void that I would very much like to be in. Voids are pretty scary and lonely, but if there was a cat in the void, I think that void wouldn't be so bad. User 224, you ask, have I played Nintendogs? Did I feel guilty for leaving them in the Nintendo void? No, I never had a Wii or anything that could play Nintendogs, but I did play on the GameCube this Sonic game where you got to take care of these little creatures. I forget what they're called. They look like onions or cabbage babies. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? In the Sonic universe. Chaos. Chaos babies? Is that what they're called? I remember taking care of them. And I remember you could get rid of your baby. You could go up to this machine and send them away. But I couldn't speak English. You know, I couldn't read. Well, I could speak English. But I couldn't read. And I didn't know what this button would do. So I would press this button and my baby Chow would disappear. That's it. Thank you. And then some sad music would play and I never see them again. And then when I got a little older and I learned how to read, I found out that I was just sending my own little Chow babies away. And that explained the sad music. And I felt so bad after I learned that. Okay. Here's my camera. It is back. Here you can see my mother's garden. So lush. So many flowers she takes care of. And Tulasi Devi is growing way too fast. So huge. That's like a 16-inch pot, by the way. Wonderful flowers to my right. Look at that flower. I don't know if it really comes off well, but this one's from India. And it has this nice dark leafy stem and green, but a wonderful flower there. So over here there's a sunflower plant here. This is from my mom didn't plant this. You know who planted this? My squirrel. There's a squirrel that comes in the winter and the fall, and we give her peanuts and we give her sunflower seeds, and she goes and plants them all around the garden. And she doesn't eat all of them. She leaves some to grow in my mom's garden. So we've had some help with the squirrel. She planted this one. This is hers. I forget the squirrel's name. I think it was Stinkerbell. Stinkerbell was her name. And thank you, Grateful Human, for your ice cream cone. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, John F., for your heart me. Jai Sitaram. There was a study that showed that most squirrels never find their nuts. But come on. They're Mother Earth's gardeners. They don't plan on eating everything they plant. That's how Mother Earth distributes her seeds, her nuts. Oh, the squirrels do it on purpose. Lando, you're wondering, why do I think nostalgia has such a strong pull over the millennial or Gen Z generation? I feel like nostalgia is strong for every generation, is it not? Each generation has its own form of nostalgia, and with the world changing quicker and quicker, it's only quicker that nostalgia comes. Because if you think about life 100, 1,000 years ago, all the same technology was there, just another century or millennia before that. So what was there to be nostalgic over when it's all around you still? But in this age, everything is changing so quickly. The current phone that you have right now, you might feel nostalgic for in just a few years, because it'll be replaced by something new. And thank you, Dob Darker, for your heart me too. Radhe Radhe. Pema, thank you for your heart me. Om Krim Kalikai Namaha. That's right, Small. I have been wearing bandanas a lot recently. It's a good observation. A couple people in here recommended that I try them so that my hair doesn't get in my eyes while I'm out. And I gotta say, I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. They're very practical headwear. Hello again, Auntie. And hello, Aurora. I'm very grateful for you too. And Chihiro, you are wondering what my opinion on millennials are in general. I don't know if I have an opinion on a group of people. The only group of people I have an opinion on are those we call humans, human beings. And they come in so many different forms and varieties. And thank you, Grateful Human, for your tiny. Yippee! Hema, you ask, how is it that I'm always smiling? What else am I supposed to do? Be upset with the only universe that I can live in? I've tried that. Doesn't do anything. I frown and I frown and I frown. But nothing gets better. But I noticed smiling does change. The more you smile, things do start to get better. Just a simple smile can brighten someone's day. Smiling to yourself can make you feel okay. Though it is true that we may smile because we are happy, and we may frown because we are sad, but it's a two-way relationship. We may smile to start to bring on our happiness, and we may let go of our frown to start to let go of our sadness. And hello, spaghetti on a plate. Welcome back. Aurora, you are wondering, what do I do to recharge? What gives me energy? What gives you energy? You are the source of energy in this universe. You are the one that gives energy, that radiates with joy. What we are is a battery with infinite potential. Everything that we go in contact with, we energize. This is true for the good as it is with the bad. If we come in contact with our negative thoughts, we energize them. They become even more powerful. If we come in contact with our positive thoughts, we energize them, and they become even more powerful. Everything we interact with, we energize. Everywhere we bring our awareness. However, the vehicle which delivers that energy, this body, this vehicle, this fleshy, meaty vehicle, that is something we do have to take care of. Because delivering so much energy takes a lot of energy from the body too. Thus we have to give some energy to the body in the form of resting with it, in the form of treating it to delicious, healthy foods, in the form of getting enough hugs, high fives, and handshakes. And thank you, Loopy Lane, for your 10 friendship necklaces. Hari Om Tat Sat. Mimi, you ask, do I ever listen to gongs? Well, if I had one, I'd be banging it all the time. I just love gongs. But if you're wondering if I listen to recordings of gongs, I don't think so. But maybe I should try that. That'd be fun. I just put a big speaker in my room, and I have it timed to a gong timer. So every now and then, simulate a gong. That'd be fun. G, you're wondering, am I part of the LGBTQ community? Absolutely. Because it's inclusive to everybody. If you're not in the LGBTQ community, then you must not be a human being. Because the A represents all the allies, and the plus sign represents everybody else. LGBTQ is just a synonym for everyone. The reason there's so many letters is because there's so many ways to identify. And that's all it represents, is that no identity can be limited in any one way. There is only inclusivity for how everyone is in their own way. And hello, Auntie. How am I doing today? I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking everyone else. That's so kind. You like gongs as well, Mimi. You used to call them bongs. Well, that works too, doesn't it? But it can also be used to describe something else. Just humans doing human stuff. I like that land though. Indubitably. Rain, you're wondering, why can't you hear nature sounds? I don't know. There are birds around me. I hear a dog barking. I know that my backyard is relatively protected from various sounds from outside, since there's a hedge that goes all around. Starts over there. This massive hedge goes all around, continues all the way around my yard. I think it dampens a lot of the sound. But there's a lot of wildlife that lives in that bush. Many bunnies, other marsupials that I don't know the name of, that are really cute, gopher looking things. So many birds. So many raccoons, that's the word, squirrels. They're all there. And Mimi, you're wondering, what do I see happening in my future? You'd sit and listen to the gong with me. Oh, thank you. I don't know, and I don't care. Because I am where I am right here. And as long as I take good care of myself in this moment, then my future will open up for me. All I ever have to do is take care of what's here now. And whatever next the universe has to give me to take care of in that moment, that is for me to take care of then. And thank you, Nunya, for your heart me. Hare Krishna. So many people are trying to secure their happiness in the future. This confuses me. Because don't you want to be happy now? They say, I can only be happy now when now is the future. Well, now will never be the future. I don't know who has to tell them that. Because never are you going to wake up and today is the future. No, today is always going to be today. And if we're constantly working today for happiness later, then happiness never comes. So, why not be happy now? Might as well. It's the only time that we will get to experience happiness, is this moment. Good to see you aesthetically, Farrell. You share that it's time for bed, and you needed to relax. Well, welcome. This space is yours. Gee, you are wondering, what would I like my last memory from my next life? I don't know. I'm happy with whatever I'm thinking right now. And if this is the last thought, then so be it. As long as I'm making my thoughts happy in this one, then that thought will be what guides me to a happy next life also. You can be happy regardless of your thoughts, even in the face of negative thoughts. You can't let your happiness be taken away by mental movies of the mind. Hola, Ro. Oi. Dreamweaver, you share that even creating a pleasant insecurity is a great means of accessing the essential self now. I love that. We can be in love with everything we have to work on, which means that there's still plenty of stuff to work on, but you're in love with the process. Maybe you feel like there's a part of you don't love. Well, you love that there's a part of you that you have to fall in love with still. Maybe you have a problem in life that won't go away, but you love the process of doing everything you can to solve problems. There is a way to fall in love with everything. There might be someone in your life challenging you. Well, you can love that life always has a challenge for you to grow from and learn through. Thank you, John F., for your tiny and your friendship necklace. Yippee! John F., you share that in your opinion, being concerned with the present is what's good with life today. I've had some liberty in interchanging some words, but I think it gets the same point across. I think one of the most overlooked verses in the Christian tradition that many of you might be familiar with, one that's so lovely and applicable to everyone, is when Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." He didn't say up there. He didn't say later. Within you means right now, here. No need to go and search for it, because it is from where you are doing the seeking. The seeking. I think I just combined seeking and searching. The seeking. I kind of like that word. It is from now that we are waiting for that very place in which we are already. I believe that it is just this knowledge alone which is sufficient for salvation, to use more biblical terms. It is this perspective in which one becomes born into eternal life. This moment is not something that can end because it was never begun. We are already in eternity. We just have yet to make it into a joy for ourselves. But right now we've made a mess out of this eternity. Right now we're making a misery out of this moment. But the ingredients which can be put together to produce something disgusting can also be put together in such a way that produces something beautiful, something delicious, something sweet. We just need to get a right taste for life. And don't lose that scent, the fragrance of divinity. Brandon Rogers, you share that you're 6 weeks clean. That makes me so happy to hear. I love that so much for you. And I'm so honored that you get to share your journey with me. And I know it has not been an easy 6 weeks. That's for sure. But on average, it does get easier. The first day is the hardest of all the days. The first week is the hardest of all the weeks. The first month is the hardest of all the months, and the first year is the hardest of all the years. But that means that every other day is easier, every other week, every other month, and when it comes to be every other year as well. Once we have repaid our own debt of happiness, returning to the baseline is even more enjoyable, is conducive to even more bliss. I have a funny story for you. I used to be a stoner. Not so surprising, honestly, in Canada, where it's legal. But a stoner friend of mine at the time, he told me a story of his dealer. His dealer used to smoke every day. And not just every day, but almost every hour of every day. He was high for years straight. Until one day, he was so high, he forgot to smoke again. And in the coming weeks, he thought he was even higher than he's ever been, until he realized that was just what it feels like to be sober. He discovered that actually the greatest high he ever felt was when he forgot to smoke. He was like, what is this profound sense of clarity? What is this sense of connection I have with this moment? What kind of strain did I get recently from the supplier? What have I been smoking? Oh yeah, I haven't been. And I never forgot that story. And that was the story of how my friend had to get a new dealer because he stopped dealing. That was great. The medicine worked. Oh, I love that, G to infinity. Yes. Thank you, Brody, for your rose that you sent just a minute ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Brandon Rogers, thank you for your hand hearts. And your 30 roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm honored to be a part of this journey with you, Brandon. Thank you, Genie. Are you here to grant 3 wishes? I think if a genie appeared before me, I'd wish... My first wish would be that you, Genie, have everlasting happiness, and that you get to grant only those wishes that bring the world more peace. And lastly, I wish that you never have to be trapped in this pot, this gold lamp, whatever you find yourself trapped in. May you be a wish fulfiller wherever you go. And then if the genie started crying and said, "That's so beautiful, please just wish one more thing," I'd say, "Okay, I wish for some tissues so that I can dab your tears." No, just please, one more wish. I say, "Okay, Genie, I wish that however many wishes you have to give me, that you give them all to yourself and have whatever you want to wish for." Some of my favorite thought experiments involve a wish-giving genie. I have a love-hate relationship with a genie. Sometimes I like to think about what wishes could really frustrate the genie. I wish for a different genie. I've asked this to you guys before as well. I wish you'd go away. Other times I think of what I could wish for that would just make the genie feel so special and loved. I think the wish-granting genie is a great thought experiment. But I love you, Genie, as well. And Michelle, you shared that you totally forgot about the time. I'm always doing this to you. Oh, I'm sorry. I should just have a clock right here. With different time zones. So you all go to bed on time. But I hope that you've left and gone to bed. Good night, Michelle. Thank you, Genie, for your flowers also. Hari Om Tat Sat. Though I would be happy with a flower emoji, and no gift is ever an expectation, I am only grateful that I am able to receive such positive sentiments from you. And I hope to bring this that you share with me and spread that love back to all of you and to those in my life. And thank you, John F., for your baker's dozen worth of ice cream cones. It's perfect for a day like today. Dum Durgaye Namaha. And thank you, Linda, for your 23 roses. Radhe, Radhe. Yes, Gaia. What is your question, dear? And I agree, Maddie. It is so beautiful out today. I hope there are many people playing by the beach since it's so warm. I feel for all those who don't have air conditioning. I know that during the summer here, sometimes many seniors pass out or those who have other disabilities which cause them to be so sensitive to the heat. Fortunately, I live by the ocean and I hope people are taking advantage of that. Chihiro, you share that you're one of those people that don't have air conditioning. It's rough out there. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sometimes temperature is one of the biggest effects on our mood. Go to check in with yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or maybe even irritated. Are you feeling too hot, too cold? What can you do to bring this body into a sense of ease? And thank you, MJ, for your love, yo. Radhe, Radhe. Jay, you are wondering, do I think I'll make any more short videos? You always learn something. Well, I'm happy to hear that you learned something from those videos. At the moment, there hasn't been something that I felt needed to be expressed through a video. As right now, my focus is not on ideas, they're on all of you. No, seriously. I hope you notice that when doing these live streams, I never bring up any concept on my own. Always by your request. I want you to feel like you are guiding this space. And in the times in which I am not live, I'm responding to messages from all of you too, because I am here to serve you. So my focus right now is on people more than video ideas. I hope you understand. Gaia, your question was, does intention with words always hit the mark? And if not, why not? I don't think there is a single person in this world who has had their intentions always hit the mark with their words. Wherever we go, always. There is someone who misunderstands our words, and that's okay. Words have limitations, and as long as one is unattached to the words, we can always find different ones. And there is a siren in the background. I hope that it is not too loud or alarming for you. Words are vehicles for meaning, packaging of sorts. And if that packaging is not right for some person, then it would be wonderful for us to cultivate a sense of having a creativity with our word choice. If it's not received in one way, then we can always try to give it in another. And that is the beauty of language, is that there's so many synonyms, so many unique people with unique experiences of words. We can always try for a different way. Some of you didn't know the siren was here and not there. Yes, there are some sirens in the background, which is good because it means that someone is getting help. When I was younger, I used to fear that sirens meant something bad had happened. But the truth is that things bad happen all the time. And not all the time are there people there to help them. So a siren is something unique. Symbolically, it represents that someone is on their way to help. That's literally all that sound means. If you're driving on the road, it doesn't mean you have to make way because something bad happened. It means make way because someone's there on their way to help. Although it is a alarming sound, it's one that's very affirming to those who are in need. And any of us who have ever had to call an emergency line, you may feel your anxiety decrease on hearing a siren. Oh good, someone's on their way. So I hope with this it doesn't cause too much anxiety for you all. And thank you, Liz, for your heartbeat. Radhe, Radhe. All about the perspective, the dhastu. And thank you, Jay, for your dancing flower. Always fun. Sometimes I feel like a dancing flower. Jai Shri Ram. And thank you, grateful human, for your ginger man. Radhe, Radhe. And Liz, thank you for your poutine. Always have to get my poutine threshold as a Canadian hit. I'm just kidding. But thank you. Poutine. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. It's back. It is back, isn't it? Tenface, you share that you always attempt to see all sides of everything. That's wonderful. We cannot possibly hope to understand anything simply by looking at it from one side. Whenever a child gets their hands on something new, the first thing they do is look at it from one angle, then another, and another. They keep doing it, feeling it, touching it, hitting it against other stuff, comparing it with their other toys. In this way, a child gains a deep and full picture of whatever is before them, and put it in their mouth. Yeah. To all of their parents' fear. I think the same is true for things in life. The only way we can understand anything is by looking at it from all available perspectives. This means listening to others' voices, especially if their perspective is from a different angle than yours. Oftentimes, two people may be looking at the same thing, but just from different sides, which means that they're not disagreeing on what they're looking at, but only from where they stand. And user 224, you share that I seem to have knowledge about child development and psychology. Have I read into this? Well, I was a child, and I have gone through development, and I have a psyche too, so I'm only speaking from my own experience. I think that's some of the most, that's one of the most appealing things about psychology for me, is that the laboratory of psychology is right here. All of the instruments that one uses in order to understand, they're with you. Wherever you go, you take them with you, always, everywhere. But I do try to be sensitive to the mind of a child, because I never try to get out of a childlike mind. It's the grown-ups that convince us to think like an adult. And did my phone overheat? It did again, because the sun moved and the umbrella hath not covered my phone again. You know that it's hot because I used to do lives outside with my son, with my phone in the sun. Here's a waterfall for you. But it wouldn't overheat before. The sun is a deadly laser. I'll reconnect my phone in just a moment. I'm gonna reposition my umbrella. I'll be right back. Okay, my voice is back. I suppose we can continue our conversation of a childlike mind by this waterfall. Being a child means that you are mystified by everything. And you don't have to be small to be mystified. You can still today, with all your worldly knowledge, be mystified. Even though life has made you knowledgeable about so many aspects of it. Knowledge is often a misnomer because it gives the impression of knowing. But do we really know anything? Through education, we might know various terminologies used to describe various experiences and phenomena. However, does this give us an understanding of why the universe has arranged itself in such a way, and how we are able to experience it through this conscious experience? I think no matter how smart you are, you can still be mystified by this. Shikamaru, you share that you're having a hard time being present. How do you become one, especially when conversing? We become one by dissolving the boundaries we have between us and them. We become one by listening, as though they were telling us a story from our own life. We see them, feel them, and understand them to be another way in which you get to experience this universe, just through a fresh pair of eyes. We become one with them by extending our sense of self to include them. We listen to them with the intention of understanding them in the same way we try to understand ourselves. We can embrace our unique experiences and our unique character traits that set us apart, but we can embrace the ways in which we are the same, and all the ways in which we have felt the same things, just in different ways. In this way, being one with another simply means that we see them as a mirror unto which we can see ourselves. Sounds like I'm reading from a book. I was figuring out my phone. My attention wasn't anywhere else but on you, my friends. The live is a bit chaotic today, but that's okay. Linda, you share, in other words, that we don't know nothing, but humanity knows pretty well how vulnerable we are, and how receptive we are for help and healing. This much we know. Chloe Evans, you share that you're chanting yourself to sleep. That's wonderful. That's one of my favorite ways to fall asleep. And I love the way you put that, Kelsey. There's many names for source, but no one is denying its existence in their own vocabulary. And I love that, Bren. We should all strive to be open and learn with gratitude. That's wonderful. Yes, Marlon. My dear sister. What is your question? Meow. I will hydrate since you remind me of that always also. Chihiro, you're wondering if I can adopt you. I don't know if I have the jurisdiction to do that. However, I can vow to take care of you with the same love that a mother or a father would. And I can do my best to be there for you in all the ways that I have the capacity for. And Marlon, you are wondering, what is my opinion on the conscious shift that's happening worldwide? Oh. Since 5,160 years ago, there has been a shift ongoing. This is a relatively recent thing. It's called Kali Yuga, which means the age of Kali. Around the time of the Bronze Age collapse, many great civilizations fell to give rise to a very different form of living. Never in the hundreds of thousands of years that humanity has been around have we started writing things down, collecting information, storing our story. Never has there been such a rapid advancement in technology and the political climate is so active today. In this age, we see a rise of materialism and a decline in spiritual virtues like understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and humility. It is marked by an age of quarrel and hypocrisy. However, the darker the world gets in spiritual fervor, the greater the inner light appears to shine. So although the material world appears to be descending, the spirit is very much ascending. That is because, in this age, we are so aware of the suffering that is all around the world that our hearts break open. We cannot help but be privy to all of the pains that is going around this planet. Mother Nature is crying. So many people are going without food, and many are turning their backs on family and so-called loved ones. With this high awareness, the world becomes closer, and we hear and feel each other's emotions like no other time. The greatest opportunities to help, be there for one another, and lend service are here and now. In many ways, this is the best time to be human, because we can fully embrace our highest potential of being there with love, because there is such a clear need for it. I believe that this may explain some of the features of a so-called shift in consciousness. Good night, Chloe Evans. I love you, Claude. Thank you, Kalki G, for your heart me just a moment ago. Om Namah Shivaya. And Giuliano, thank you for your community fest. Hari Om Tat Sat. So, I believe it's a good time to start wrapping things up. Normally I go on for a little later, but I started a little sooner, and it's very warm. I'd like to go to the beach actually while the sun is still up and dip my feetsies in the water. And maybe while I'm on the beach, I can be texting all of you if ever there's anything that I can attend to in that way. But before I start wrapping things up for tonight, there are 3 segments I'd like to go through with you all. My question of the day, a short reading, and a short mantra chanting meditation. But my question of the day for you all is a fun one. I think you'll like it. I know I liked it when I asked it earlier. If you had to come up with a new word to describe how you're feeling, what would it be? What would it sound like? You can come up with a portmanteau, smush some words together, or you can come up with a totally new assortment of sounds. Here I'm flexing your creative abilities and redefining some emotions that just don't have feelings that can be defined in our current vocabulary. Raccoon Holler, you're feeling splendiferous. I'm very happy to hear that. Jay, you're feeling chainlessness. That's a good one. Honkalicious shares 10 face. Nice. Boop shares Claude. Babloop shares Shakira. Heftamundo, shares Krista, number 10. Kato, you share Undefundelig. I feel like that could be German. Kalatomus, shares Chihiro. Spoobily, shares spaghetti on a plate. Carrie, you feel like when you sit in a chair after a long day. Lohio, you share confused surfing. Confused surfing, I like that. Loop, shares Claudia Sell. Marlon, you have a quick question. How do I regain my energy when I'm so tired? Well, they've come up with a whole new thing for us to do. They call it sleep. Or if you're not committed to a full sleep, then what you can do is you can nap. Never take for granted the power of a nap. Naps are great. Or take a bath if you like that, or showers, or any other way you get to just be with yourself. Take care of your body and mind. Amanda, you share happy delicious. I love that. Crumply, shares Mr. B. You like spoobily, shares Shakira. I do too. Shoebilly, shares Claude. Gambatlanola, shares B. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these in the way you all intend, by the way. Calmcation. I like that, Maggie. Blissfully, or blissly, shares Kelsey. I like that. Did I see, Maggie, you had asked a question about anger a minute ago. How do you control anger? Simple question, simple answer. You don't. Yeah, no one ever succeeded in controlling anger. What you can do is control yourself when you are feeling angry. This means walking out of the room to deal with your anger privately, or deep breathing exercises, or practicing being more proactive than reactive. Gunaflest, shares Claude. Linda, you share you're not feeling so hopeful today. Maybe tomorrow. That's okay. That's alright. Maggie, you love a bath with salt. Me too. Epsom salt. Indubit bliss. I like that, Anna. User 224, you're feeling flooped. Been there. Whelmed, shares Bubbles. I like that. Some people are overwhelmed, some people are underwhelmed. Bubbles is just whelmed. No luckicus, shares Brianna. I know what that feels like also. Marlon, you're feeling zappy. That sounds electric. And Jack, you share flibbity gibbity for extreme frustration. I love that. Flibbity gibbity. You know, that'd be a great thing to say while you're feeling frustrated. Flibbity gibbity. It's a good name for it. And I love that, Kelsey. Emotions are our friends. They just want acknowledgement and then to be on their way. Well said. I concur. Yeah. They're like little kids. Listen to me. Hey, you hear what I'm trying to say? All right, anger. I hear you. You're feeling this way? Yeah. Because this person said this? Yeah. Well, I hear you. I understand you. Thank you. And then anger itself calms down. Thank you, Shakira, for your heartbeat. Om Namah Shakiraya. That means salutations to Shakira. Or if it's a feminine name, I guess it would be Shakiraye. Shakira Ye. Shakira Ye. Something like that. Okay, thank you for attending to my question of the day. Thank you, Roxy, for your flowers and heartbeat. Hare Krishna. In Loopy Lane, you're feeling frustical. Marlin, you share that you feel like you could zap someone, regardless if you are happy or sad or mad. I know what that feels like. There's just that potential energy in you ready to be transferred to someone else. It's like Simlish, I agree, Chihiro. I think it's important not to put our emotions in any box. It's not necessary. That is why I think it's helpful to come up with your own sounds that convey the feeling. Now I would like to read a short passage of this book with you all. We've made our way through most of this book by now. Today we are reading from the 5th chapter of In Love at Ease. This chapter is called At Ease. It's about how Pramukh Swami, whom this book is about, was always at ease, even though he lived a very, very busy and high responsibility life. Let's see how we can learn from him and be at ease ourselves. We were learning about him. Swamishri communicated and instructed in an understated manner. He was very attentive. His eyes would flicker across the room, observing everyone who entered and exited. I think we were just learning about this as we stopped reading, and we communicated so much through his eye movement and acknowledgement of vision that I see you alone. Swamishri had a date with time. I think most dates are with time. Anyway. He was extremely punctual and cognizant of how he used each minute. While others often assumed that 6 p.m. meant 6:03, I do. That's for sure. Swamishri was prepared and ready to go with his pug, his sadhu's headdress, placed on his head, and with a mala, rosary of prayer beads, or a bhakta's letter, a devotee's letter in his hand, when the small hand struck the hour. He would make the most of even mere seconds in between meeting bhaktas, devotees. In the short period of time it took one bhakta to leave the room and the next to enter, Swamishri could read the organization's monthly publications. Tenface, you shared that you're neurodivergent and you can't do eye contact. That's okay. Yeah. Some of my fellow neurodivergent friends, I know that they're paying attention when they're looking at something else, when they're just letting their mind follow, because that means they're not so much in their head trying to maintain the status quo and social cue. I don't worry about that with my friends. I just let them take their eyes wherever they go, and that's how I know that they have some free space in their mind to listen. Swamishri was at Dr. Dikshit Rawal's diagnostic lab, waiting to have a scan. While the doctor and the technician set up the equipment, Swamishri read a letter from a bhakta. He kept the letter by his side and read it in between each scan while the technicians adjusted the equipment, Dr. Wawal was shocked by Swamishri's diligence. And if there was not enough time to read a bhakta's letter, there was enough to prepare the next one to be read. Once, while Swamishri was going from one house Padramani, which is a household visit to their devotees, to another on the same block, the sadhus, the monks, refused his request to give him a letter to read. "It is just down the block, Swamishri. You won't have time." Swamishri gently grabbed the stack of letters and removed the staple from the corner. "There. Now I can start reading them as soon as we get back to the car." As meticulous as he was with me, Swamishri's daily schedule was always in flux. Things were added last minute more often than cancelled, and he was constantly adjusting his own needs in order to accommodate the time allotted to others. To be at ease, it is to be comfortable with giving into others' needs for your time. In 2007, in London, Ishwar Charandas Swami and I were awaiting our turn for a discussion with Swamishri. Narayan Charandas Swami asked us into the room. Swamishri was elated to see us but had a request. "Would the two of you mind if I use the restroom and go for a bath? I know we are going to be a while, but I have been waiting to use the restroom since 4:30 p.m. You will then have my undivided attention." I followed Ishwar Charandas Swami's cue and quietly bowed out of the room. As soon as I stepped out, we both looked at each other and realized that it was past 7 p.m. 2.5 hours. Tenface, you share that you can make eye contact with people who make you feel comfortable, but it's hard. Yeah, eye contact can be a very beautiful experience, sharing a gaze into each other's soul. It requires one to be very vulnerable, definitely, and we might not feel that way with everyone. And welcome back, Arya. I'm sorry to hear that your live stream was having technical difficulties. Always next time. Swamishri did not have a fixed time to go to bed, though he was always up before dawn to go to the Mandir's Mangala Arti, the pre-dawn Arti ritual, which is something they do in India and other places where they practice Hinduism, where they light an oil lamp and wave it in front of a divine image. He was always ready for that at 5:30 in the morning or 6 in the morning. The day was peppered with meetings, letters, personal consultations, sometimes up to 3 or 4 spiritual assemblies, and endless hours of traveling and house visits in various villages. Swamishri used a famous Gujarati saying to describe his travels: "Jad divo tya tatan nahi." The night's rest or halt was always different from where I brushed my teeth that morning. It was not until after his quintuplet bypass at the age of 78 in 1998 that the sadhus and devotees decided to bring order to Swamishri's routine. The doctors and personal attendants structured Swamishri's day to limit the stress on the heart and body. They limited the number of padramanis, household visits to devotees, and the number of towns and villages he visited in a day or week. A person's schedule tells you so much about them. After waking up around 5:30 to 6 in the morning, Swamishri first meditated on the murti of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. He slowly transitioned to his breathing exercises and yogasanas before brushing his teeth. He then came out for his morning walk to be greeted by sadhus, bhaktas, and children who sang bhajans, devotional songs, shared stories and presented reports about the ongoing satsang and mandir construction activities in the city or village. Some mornings were quieter when he walked to the sound of the wind or the soft chant of the Swaminarayan mantra. In either case, Swamishri was never alone. After his morning walk, Swamishri bathed and then sat down for his morning puja, which was also attended by bhaktas and sadhus from all over the world. After eating a quick breakfast while meeting bhaktas in close proximity, Swamishri either had meetings for the organization's activities or turned to the letters, phone calls, or house visits scheduled for that day. Thereafter, Swamishri attended the morning sabha, assembly, before lunch. Though lunch was scheduled between 12:30 and 1 p.m., Swamishri often sat down for lunch at 2 p.m. If there was time, there were always more bhaktas to meet after lunch. Swamishri rested for an hour and returned to his meetings and letters by 4 p.m. A small offering of fruits and nuts were brought to Swamishri by sadhus who would try to steal a few minutes with their guru before he moved on to counseling his bhaktas for their problems through letters, meetings, and personal consultations. This continued until the evening sabha, followed by dinner. While walking from his residence to the sabha hall and vice versa, each moment was filled with silent and verbal interactions with thousands of bhaktas, devotees, who often lined the pathways of these short walks. Swamishri met more bhaktas after dinner and then returned to his room to catch up on the day's letter writing and personal consultation with sadhus or senior administrators. Those meetings often ran late into the night, but when they finished on time, Swamishri sat among the sadhus and bhaktas to sing the cheshta, the poetic evening meditation on Bhagwan Swaminarayan's daily routine. That's kind of a meta point here, that we're talking about Swamishri's daily routine, and one of the parts of his daily routine is to meditate on the daily routine of his Ishta Devata, his personal form of the divine that he looked up to. And you've all experienced this unique aspect of the Swaminarayan tradition when we read the Vachanamrut, for example. We often start each passage by describing where Swaminarayan was sitting, what he was wearing, what he was fiddling with in his hands, who was around him, etc. Those of this tradition just love to know the little aspects of their teachers' lives, and I think that's very personal and endearing. The sadhus and bhaktas, the monks and devotees watched as the lights to Swamishri's room turned off. They then finally dispersed. Swamishri's night, however, was still young. He spent the next hour on the phone, checking in on his team of bhaktas and sadhus around the world. This was Swamishri's hour to reach out to those who had reached out to him with heavy hearts earlier in the day. Swamishri lightened the loads of those whom he spoke. He would laugh, tease, and even gently ridicule in order to ease the tension of everyday life. It was his way to tell bhaktas and sadhus serving around the world that he was thinking of them, that he was with them. The calls for guiding the organization's humanitarian efforts in Bhuj after the earthquake, to ensuring a young lady going through a divorce in Canada had the support of the community's elders in Toronto, to laughing with the elderly, ill bhaktas and sadhus to help them forget, even if only for a few minutes, the bodily pain and suffering they were enduring. Often those calls were to help them prepare for what was to come next. To be at ease is to check in with loved ones from time to time. And let us pause our reading of In Love, at Ease there for now. So So thank you for listening. And we are very close to ending this Sangha. There's just one more thing, and that is I'd like to do a mantra session with you all. Did I thank you, Roxy, for your flowers and heart me? I can't remember if these were new or not. I apologize, but just in case, I thank you again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And thank you, Austin, for your rose too. Hari Om Tat Sat. Arya, you share that your plants really like my voice. They perk up every time you play the live and meditate with them. I know that Tulasi Devi, she really likes when we sing. I don't know what microscopic glands that release the scent that is so divine that are on her, but I know that they often release whenever we do our mantra chanting session at the end. And I smell her fragrance when we sing to the divine that she embodies. Arya, you're wondering, did I get your imaginary rose? It's an IOU for when you're rich from selling yam comics. I don't know if I did get a virtual rose, but an imaginary rose. I'm happy to accept it from my heart. Thank you for that. Radhe o Radhe. Alright, I'm just going to prepare for us our mantra chanting session for tonight. As such, I'm going to minimize the background music. Let's see, do I have it ready? I do have it ready. It's just 5 minutes. Feel free to participate or not. If you're uncomfortable with it, I of course understand. But this one's a very lovely one. Today we are meditating on Surya, which refers to the sun. Surya is often personified, and there's an art piece that I'll display here that kind of represents the personality of this word Surya. And the mantra that we're doing 108 times for Surya is Om Sum Suryaya Namaha. Sum is the bija mantra, the sacred seed syllable that invokes the essence of Surya. And so you could literally translate each aspect of this mantra as Om. Oh, Sum, I invoke Surya's essence. Suryaya, Surya to thee. Namaha, my salutations. Om Sum Suryaya Namaha. Oh, I invoke Surya's essence. Surya to thee, my salutations. Of course, Surya is the sun, in case you forget. And just for fun, here is what that mantra looks like in the script for Sanskrit that I'm developing. I believe that Sanskrit deserves a script that brings out its mystical beauty, which we haven't had for thousands of years. And I hope that this script begins to reveal itself to you, because that was its intention. Until that time comes, without further ado, let us chant Om Sum Suryaya Namaha 108 times for 5 minutes.
Suryaya Namaha, Om Sum 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 Suryaya Namaha, Om Suryaaya Namaha. Om Sum 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 Suryaaya Namaha.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for listening. Good sound. I hope that with this repetitive chanting called japa, 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 japa in Sanskrit, that you feel more at peace, more calm, and that the sun-like radiance, the divine symbolism, and that great big ball of fire in the sky finds its way to be expressed through you. Sky Guardian, welcome. You shared that you were thinking of a Surya mantra. What a synchronicity. It's nice to have you pop in here at the end. I hope you are doing well and the ashram sangha today went well. Ashram satsang. And thank you, Morgan, for your rose and your rosa. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Austin, for your rose also. And thank you for bridging the gap, Daria, with so many different cognates from Proto-Indo-European to many other words we still use today. The sun has definitely been a symbol for God. It embodies so many different aspects, like the giver of light and warmth and the source of energy for us on earth. Without the sun, we would not have our weather patterns. We would not have light for us to see. And of course, all the algae and phytoplankton and leafy greens on this earth, they wouldn't photosynthesize. And how would the life forms that munch on those and the life forms that munch on those that munch on those get energy also? It is at the top, the hierarchy of life filtering its way down, or you could say also at the bottom of the food chain. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this Monday Sangha. I hope to see you tomorrow. While the sun is still up, I'd like to hopefully maybe go to the beach, stick my feetsies in the water, cool off. So I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to end maybe a little earlier today for that. But I'm always available on my other platforms to message in case there's a question that I was not able to attend to, or if you just want to share something with me, like a picture of your cat, or a rock, or you have something funny, a good meme. I'm always happy to see them. Without further ado, the recording of this live will be uploaded to my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel and other alternatives in the link tree in my bio, in case there's any more you want to get out of that there. I try to give each live stream a unique title, thumbnail, description, as well as a chapter system, as I've written a computationally intelligent program that extracts the audio, partitions it, transcribes it, chapters it, along with a timestamp of every question, every topic that was discussed. So, down to the minute, you can click on exactly the moments that you like, as well as the various clips of the readings, of the meditations. Those are all there on the YouTube channel as well. May this live stream be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna, the personality of the divine that speaks to my heart, that I see and I revere within all of you. And to each and every one of you, in your own personal form of the divine, called Ishta Devata, may this live stream go out to your particular aspect of divinity also. But most importantly, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here for you. And I apologize for any way in which I could have misunderstood you. I hope next time you allow me the opportunity to understand you better, as I'm always learning and growing on this path with you too. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Shyam Shyam, Radhe Radhe. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaskaram.